right. Speaking of the bread man, let's move on to a little footy here. Should the Giants pay Saquon or Daniel Jones or both?
Or neither. I mean, the answer is neither.
Obviously.
The answer is obviously. Let's start off with Saquon. If he wants to take a team-friendly deal, fine.
Which, by the way, $12.5 million, if that's team-friendly, you want to be teammates? Like, I'll be friendly.
Okay, so the rumor is they're offering 12.5. He wants more. Obviously, Jack and I have always said you can't pay running backs unless you're a 3-down back, which Saquon is. But I think we can throw that out the window at this point. Like, you just don't pay anybody that plays running back. So if he wants to take $8 million, you restructure 3 or 4 times to help the cap, signing bonuses, don't know how that works. Sure, you sign Saquon. But I will say, Saquon has been the heart of that offense outside of the torn ACL year since he's come into the league. A lot of miles on that tank.
Oh, interesting approach. I thought you were going to go the opposite, which I have to
think about the shelf life for a running back.
No. Trust me. Any running back slander, any running back slander flies here. Even though we love Austin Eckler, I love Saquon. Like Saquon's, all our guys actually are running backs, so we should probably pick a new angle. But my thought process was, all right, he was the only guy. He's also, for being a star in New York,
he still is the only guy.
Yeah, he still is.
Their roster stands today.
For being a star, like not a single thing has happened to him in the media. He's handled adversity amazing, from injuries,
is
from
this LeBron
doubters.
or Saquon?
Sorry?
Is this LeBron or Saquon?
We're not talking about LeBron James. And at every angle of it, it's just like Saquon has been perfect for the Giants. He was their horse, this guy. Which is all the more reason why you probably shouldn't pay him.
He did go 2 seasons doing a classic 18 carries for 55 yards every game.
And there were games this year, which is why you just don't pay running backs. And it's nothing personal against Saquon. Look, I pray. Who's the team? Like Carolina, they're like, oh, you know what? McCaffrey made the Niners win 9 straight. Maybe if we bring in Saquon, we'll return to our good. Like, I hope he gets $15 million a year.
The Panthers say to themselves, what if we had a guy like McCaffrey?
Right. But I will say this, I think it's something for a running back to think about. Go to a situation that's fruitful for you, and I think your career can be extended. And so if you say, all right, I'm gonna get 3 years, $45 million, or 4 years, $60 million. But realistically, by the back half of that, right, Zeke, you're not going to get that last, 3rd or 4th or 5th year.
And the first half of it is going to inhibit your chances of building a good team around that.
Exactly. So that's why I say, the discount might make sense. Look at McCaffrey. His stock just rocketed right back up because he was in a top run offense in the league. They used him properly, and they didn't even have to hammer him. Elijah Mitchell can take carries off him. So I think taking the discount to extend your career makes a lot of sense. I
saw a tweet about Saquon that was could he land at these possible places? I don't know if he was linked there or not. Dolphins. Eagles, Falcons with Lamar, Chicago, and I was like, all right, Falcons, Chicago.
The Ravens, I saw one with the Ravens too.
Saw one with the Ravens too. But I know it might have been the Bills, and that's what made me think. And I was like, if you're a team like the Bills, and you just find, I don't know, $15 million under the couch, every move that you're making, if you're the Bills, for the most part, is on the margins. You're not really making any splash moves. Why not?
Oh, really?
Why not?
See, this is the problem.
That's my Madden mentality.
Yeah, this is the problem because it has gone from, all right, Saquon actually is going to be the guy who changes the league for running backs because he's the last one taken in the top 5, and there will never be a running back taken in the top 5 again, no matter what the talent is.
I don't know, man. There's always stupid people out there.
Bijan Robinson this year, literally 4 years ago, he would have been a top 5 pick. Now, because teams know he's going to go in the late 20s, and it's still too early.
We were on this so early.
So early. It's not that complicated, although the window theory kind of got messed up. But think about these running backs, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Because the thought process was, all right, they won the Super Bowl.
I think he just stinks.
But that's why you don't take running backs, because it's just a product of the system. Sony Michel. The Patriots drafted Sony Michel over Lamar Jackson. Now, many people say Sony Michel won the Patriots the Super Bowl, but he didn't actually do anything on the 3 1-yard carries in the Super Bowl. You can find anyone, and they already have James Cook. You don't the gap between $12 million and James Cook, $12 million that could go to a left tackle, that could go to an interior defensive lineman, that could go to literally anything besides a running back. Isaiah Pacheco got drafted in the 6th round of the NFL draft and was the lead back in this year's Super Bowl. Are you losing an ounce of sleep over Miles Sanders departing this season?
No, but I lost a lot of sleep over Isaiah Pacheco.
Exactly.
That's what I wanted to bring up. At what point is drafting a running back acceptable?
I think that depending on
Miles
the team,
Sanders went 2nd round, pick 53, so that's like in the 20s of the 2nd round.
Yeah, so I'll actually flip what most people would think here. Drafting a running back after the 1st round probably makes a lot of sense because you get to hammer them into the ground for 4 years. But you should never. There's almost no scenario I can think of where you should re-sign a running back because either they haven't played well, so they're not that expensive, or they played really well and just let them walk. You got to be able to let them walk.
You want to draft someone in the 1st round that you want to pay.
Exactly.
And nobody ever wants to
actually,
pay
the whole point of drafting someone in the 1st round is so that you get their 5th year and then you can extend them after that. And you just don't want to do that with the running back.
Daniel Jones, thoughts?
My hot take is if you want to keep him, tag him and see one yeah, now that we're in studio, we can get physical with each other. Some of these debates,
I think we just like fought once.
you know, for the content.
Or kissed.
Yeah. I don't know about that. So Daniel Jones, if you want to keep him, if you're one of those Giants fans, and there were many, I was with a Giants fan right before.
When it was 07. When it was feeling like 07.
When it was feeling like 07, right? I was with a Giants fan, and every quarterback I brought up, Daniel Jones was better than. He was a top 8 quarterback in the league, the way he used his legs, the way he'd been playing. And then they played the Eagles, and the true Daniel Jones, may you please stand up. And he surely did. So it's no mystery who Daniel Jones is. Now, if you're a Giants fan, you can easily say he was throwing to practice squad guys. So I'll give him that. He didn't have a tight end. It was just him and Saquon. And the O-line was shaky at best against, you know, one of the fraudulent fronts of NFL history. But you knew you were going to get shots at some
Keep
point.
going. Finish your point.
But is he a good quarterback? Sure.
No.
I'm fine with that.
No.
He's in today's NFL, he's a top half quarterback, which is insane to think about. Trust me, I saw a list of Matt Castle's rankings. The bottom half of the league, you don't want any of those guys. So is he a good quarterback that you could
I would take Geno Smith over Daniel Jones.
But like definitively at
Yes.
like maybe. But I think that's a great point you bring up on Geno Smith. Development can happen at all speeds. We want it to happen quicker, and 9 times out of 10, if it takes this long, probably not going to be a good player. But see another year with DJ. See him in Dable's offense year 2. See him with weapons, and then make the decision. Now, it might cost you $10 million a year, but it's not as bad as doing 4 years for 140.
Carson Wentz.
Exactly. You just can't lock up the wrong guy unless you've got the best GM in football, apparently. So I say let him walk because I think you know what you have. But if you're going to do anything, franchise tag him. The tag actually isn't too expensive. It's a big cap hit, but it's reasonable.
The reason you tag him is because Daniel Jones is a bitch. Like, you're telling me Daniel Jones, look at him as a person and his personality. He's going to hold out? Please. He'll be at their OTAs day 1. He's showing up to work because he's going to have to earn his next contract this year. He's going to. I spoke to a Giants fan today at work. I was like, what was this Daniel Jones' $45 million a year thing? He was like, yeah, that's just a negotiation tactic, which it is. Like, they're trying to meet somewhere in the middle because God knows he doesn't really deserve anything, in my opinion.
Right. Like, what's the figure for you that even makes sense?
15?
Not in today's league. Quarterback. I mean, you bring up the quarterbacks who are making $15 million a year. Like, it's not many. No
Also,
star.
would you rather 20 a year guaranteed in the New York market with sponsorships? Not that Daniel Jones is necessarily the most marketable person. Or would you rather $30 million a year living in fucking Green Bay, Wisconsin?
You're not going to get $10 million in sponsorships unless you become the guy.
You know about that?
I mean, I haven't made $10 million in sponsorship. All right, let's play a little would you rather. Straight up, 1 year.
Not Daniel Jones.
Would you rather? Yeah. Daniel Jones or Derek Carr?
Derek Carr.
Daniel Jones or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Daniel Jones or 9 games of Kyler Murray?
9 games of Kyler Murray.
Okay, so you're not a believer in Daniel Jones, which
Is that news?
No, it's not. I told you during the season though, you do have to acknowledge there was growth and progression, and he was a better player this year. But I still think we haven't figured out. He's like an above average game manager.
It is the suboptimal decision that you want to, or predicament that you want to be in if you're the Giants. Also, historically, a franchise which within the last 10 years has been poverty. Like you either want a definitive yes, or you want to be the Jets, where you're like, this guy fucking sucks and we can't sign him in Zach Wilson. Once you're in that middle ground, that's where it gets ugly. And that's where I think the franchise tag kicks in. Remember, Kirk Cousins was franchise tagged. Dak Prescott was franchise tagged. Daniel Jones' ceiling, which he's 6 feet under right now, is a Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott. It's a really good, inconsistent quarterback that you will never trust to win the big one.
See, in my head, I don't even think
that's all vibes. That's all vibes.
Yeah, I don't even think DJ's as good as those two.
He's not. I said that's his absolute ceiling. Yeah.
But
how many
with
people
the
hit their
legs,
ceiling?
with the legs, and in today's NFL, we've seen that's the new NFL. That's why scoring will probably be up in the NFL. It's more efficient offenses.
So I go, you don't sign Saquon. Or as an Eagles fan, I say you sign Saquon, and Daniel Jones, you tag him. If he whatever, oh well, keep walking.
Okay.
Because there is a rule that you can only use the tag like every certain amount of time, right?
You can only use one tag.
How often?
Per year.
It's one per year?
Yeah.
I think you might lose it on a quarterback or something.
You can tag your quarterback 2 times in a row. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know about the tags. I know.
What if they tag Saquon?
They could do that. Yeah. They could do that. I mean, that would be
dumb.
I wouldn't hate it. I'd rather them do that.
I actually think I would like it, actually, come to think of it. You just fucking run it 40 times a game, run them into the ground and say, enjoy Miami.
And let's just be clear on camera. Look at the camera. We like Saquon Barkley. He's a great guy, and I wish nothing but the best for him.
Shout out for the birthday party invite.
But in general, probably not the move.